one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, challenged us, or just made learning fun? Now's your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donor Shoes. Nominated outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Help us say thank you to the educator shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
So much, Tenemy. You'd be the teacher I would nominate, even though you weren't technically a teacher of mine. You've taught me so many things. It's couple 13-14 past. Hour number 2 begins with 5, 3, 4.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1.
Time now for an in-depth look at the state of hockey.
Should we call it state of cocky?
Here's what I'll tell you, though. It should be a state of cocky, but I remember I said, go 8-1-1, 9-1-1 in the month of November and get back to me. That's what I said, and lo and behold, that's what they've done.
I think I also was the first one in town that said Volstead needs to be playing more.
Yep, you did. You were the first.
But yeah, you just mentioned it. The Wild are league best 9-1-1 in the month of November after shutting out the Penguins 5-0 Friday night. And then they shut out the Jets 3-0 yesterday in Winnipeg. Jesper Volstead made 32 saves for his NHL-leading third shutout in his past 4 starts. They have scored first in a franchise record 12 consecutive games, which is tied for the 10th longest run in NHL history. And the Wild haven't even trailed for the last 8 games, a stretch of 480 minutes. Common are the Wild a wagon?
Yeah, they're a wagon?
A wagon.
What does that mean?
I don't know, it's just kind of a kid's term.
Oh, is it? Yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah. I'm learning the kids' terms all the time. They're a wagon. Deuce looked up some numbers, and I don't remember what they were, but the longest scoreless streak for a goaltender, some guy in like 1922 had like 383 minutes. They had it in minutes. They didn't have it by games. So how many minutes? Is that back-to-back shutouts?
380 minutes?
Something like that.
Oh, that's like that's 6-7 games.
Yeah, right. Yeah. 6-7 games.
6-7.
But how many minutes in a row now for Walsall? It's 2 games.
Well, no. Gustafson got the shutout Friday night.
Oh.
Volstead had 2 shutouts, and then I think he gave up 2 or 3 goals against Carolina and then got another shutout.
Okay. Well, so now he has 60 minutes.
But the team has, yeah.
Right, but he has 60 minutes. And then whatever minutes of the last goal scored in the game he gave up 2. What if he does put together a streak? What if he has? Because if he's had a couple of shutouts, there's no reason he can't continue on this and set a new National Hockey League record. It's exciting. It did look. I was, I always do that. Get to the Western Conference Finals and get back to me. I was with the Wild. It was basically get to double-digit wins and get back to me. They were so bad, but now. You said it. They have the best record in the month of November, and much of it, I think, you would know better than I do. Much of it has to do just with the goaltending, obviously,
and defense in front of them.
And defense in front of them, and then just scoring timely goals. Offense playing well. The team is playing, at least for the month of November, championship caliber hockey.
Here's what I'll say, because I'm going to relate this back to the Vikings, right? Like yesterday when J.J. McCarthy was taking a lot of criticism. You get people that jump out and go, well, he's not getting protection. He's not getting play calling, blah, blah, blah. And they want to try to deflect blame from J.J. McCarthy. I do believe, whether it's right or not, that it's human nature that if you don't have confidence in somebody that's on the team with you, it has an impact and effect on the way you play, right? Like I've played many a hockey game as a defenseman, whereas if I don't have confidence in the goalie behind me, it changes the way I play. Or if I don't have confidence in the team I'm playing with, right? If I don't have confidence my forwards are going to score, I might start trying to take more chances and play more aggressively, right? If I don't have confidence in my goaltender making the save, I feel like I have to go after the puck carrier all the time as opposed to, I can let him shoot that because my goalie's going to stop it. And I think that's happening a little bit with, right? Like all the drops you've had from Vikings wide receiver, I think some of them might just be a little bit lacking focus, checked out. And I think now the opposite has happened with the Wild, where it started with Volstead. I think he just kind of infused just boost of confidence into the team of, hey, you guys are struggling. I'm going to have your back. And now everyone else is playing a little bit more freer and obviously more successful in that regard. It has an influence on the entire team.
Brilliant. I also think you could take this another step. You seem like you've been checked out of the show for like 2 years, and I think because you don't have a lot of confidence in the host to carry a program for 3 hours. You just have no occasion. Just like, why do I even bother? There's nothing I can do to help this.
Wait till you see the producers of the Lieutenant Fitzgerald. It's even worse then.
Yeah, they've already got life jackets on and flare gun ready to go. I understand. Yeah, I think you're onto something, Tennessee. Could very well be. But all I know is they're playing awfully well right now.
Question number 2.
Well, let's get to the negative stories then, huh? Common, what was the bigger Minnesota meltdown this weekend? A, the Wolves blowing an 8-point lead with 50 seconds to play in Phoenix, or B, the Gophers blowing a 28-13 third quarter lead to Northwestern at Wrigley Field? So the Gopher football team had a 15-point lead at Wrigley Field against Northwestern. Their defense was awful. Timberwolves couldn't hit free throws. Their defense was awful.
I think the Wolves. I mean, again, the Gophers are the Gophers, right there. We know they've had 3. Now, again, to rank teams. Now, Iowa, I don't think was ranked when they got beat, whatever it was, 41-3, whatever that final was. I don't recall. But, Ohio State was number 1. Oregon was number 8. We know we're not in their class. And I'm not making an excuse for the Gophers. It shouldn't be. After 9 years with Fleck, and don't give me all the nil and all that, you still should. You shouldn't get embarrassed like that. And then he was really defensive again here. He was going the game last week. He keeps doing? Is anybody else tired of the championship season for each week? I mean, that never did much for me to begin with. I get it, take it one game at a time. But, he did it again. He goes, that game last week didn't matter anyway to this week. In other words, he's trying to separate himself from the beatdowns. He wants to talk, and he was making this almost seem like it was a moral victory to only lose to Northwestern by 3. And, they missed a 40-yard field goal that would have tied it. Your kid should have, I love him, but the kid, I don't know who he is. He should have been able to get a 4. You got to make it's like. But when you're a professional basketball team, and what I heard, I saw a quote from one of the Phoenix players that said the Wolves, especially Randall, were talking trash with 50 seconds to go. That's terrible. Ant misses a couple of free throws. They turn the ball over on a couple of inbounds passes. And again, the Wolves have now are they 10-0 against teams with losing records and 0-6 or 0-7, whatever it is, against teams with winning records? Get to the Western Conference Finals again. Matter of fact, you know what I would even say? Forget that, we've done that twice. And am I correct in both Western Conference Finals we got drilled 4 games to 1? Weren't they gentlemen's sweeps in both of them? I think both the Western Conference Finals we got drilled 4 games to 1. So that does nothing for me. That doesn't mean you were really that close to getting to the finals when you get beat that badly. Get to the finals and get back to me. To me, that was way worse, more embarrassing. Way worse.
Question number 3. NFL No Huddle.
The Rams smoked the Buccaneers 34-7 last night. Common, are the Rams the best team in football?
I think you might have to say so. I didn't see that coming. I would have thought the Rams would win. Did you take the Rams in spread swing?
I did not, no.
Nobody did?
I don't think anyone did.
The Rams, and I'll tell you what, Matty Stafford looks, and maybe it's the system. I mean, I'm not going to say it's all Matty Stafford. McVay's system apparently is very good. I think they have good skill position players. They have a good, their defense is really good. That's just such a well-rounded team. But I was watching some of that game yesterday. He can make all the throws. He is, when you're late 30s and you've played and you've won a big game and you had all the beatdowns in Detroit and learned your lessons there, and there's nothing he's not seen before. And he is playing at a level that is I know every week we do the overreaction Monday, like who's the MVP of the league. To me, he's hands down right now the MVP of the league. He's so talented. And
that addition of Devontae Adams in the offseason was pretty darn good, too. You got him at a pretty modest deal. And he is just like, you get inside the 5-yard line, he's just like having a big, tough running back who can get the goal line running back.
Deuce said
he can't be stopped in the end zone.
He's one of the best wide receivers of our past 5-10 years. Would that be true?
He might be the most underrated. Yeah.
It's not a team for me because I watch the highs and lows of Matty Ice in Detroit, more lows than highs. So I've always liked him. So I wish the Rams all the success, except if they play Kitties in the playoffs. If the Kitties make it, they stole one yesterday. That was pretty easy. But yeah, that's a really good football team.
Shedeur Sanders led the Browns to a 24-10 win over the Las Vegas Raiders. Can Shedeur be a full-time starter in the NFL?
I don't know. I mean, the numbers, again, were very pedestrian, like a lot of guys, I mean, they were almost J.J. McCarthy-like. Well, a little better than that. But, yeah, he composed himself pretty well his first ever start. I don't know. He was, if you remember, didn't he fall all the way to the fifth round?
When at one point he thought he could be the number 2 overall pick.
Yes. And so I'm sure he suffers from a little bit of humbleitis there. But, I didn't watch any of the game. I just saw a highlight package here on ESPN. The long throw he made, that was a great throw. And again, all these guys can make even JJ made one great throw yesterday to Jefferson, just a terrific throw. So all these guys can make it. But, yeah, I mean, he's 1-0 as a starter, right? So good for him. But I don't know long term.
The Lions escaped. You just mentioned it. They escaped with a 34-27 overtime win over the Giants. Your thoughts?
They were, how you like to say, sometimes the Wild will outplay the other team and still lose. The Giants outplayed Detroit. It was the Lions got bamboozled by a couple of trick plays. I just saw the second half because I was out golfing. I pulled myself from the golf round and went and watched Deuce and I were watching both Vikings, Packers, and Kitties, Giants. They had no business winning that game. Talked to a Packer fan today at the golf course, and what he was bitter about were the Giants decided not to go to kick a field goal, go up 6 late in the game. They decided to go for it on 4th and goal from like the 6 or 7, whatever it was, 4. They didn't get it. That allowed then the Lions only needed 3. They got the ball back. They got it. And then the Bates character kicked like a 59-yarder that never looked like it was going in off his foot. It hooked back in. It was like he hit like a draw hook that just got over the crossbar just inside the upright. And then the Giants win the toss and say, we want to be on defense first. First play from Jahmyr Gibbs. You can have your Saquon Barkleys, you can have your McCaffreys, and I know that
Jonathan
Taylors and your Johnny Taylor, whatever. Look, I know that again. It was like a sore thumb against. Was it the Vikings where he couldn't pick up a block? It was bad. I mean, they had to actually take him out of the game. It was that Viking game. Yeah, they had to take him out of the game a couple times because he couldn't pick up a blitzing linebacker. He had 264 yards from scrimmage yesterday. It's an all-time Lions record. Yeah, that's more than Barry Sanders ever did from scrimmage. That's more than Billy Sims ever did from scrimmage or anybody else that ever played for that club. He was spectacular yesterday, and like I say, he went house on the first play from scrimmage in overtime, and the Lions hung on. And so now you have the Bears. Are they 8-3?
Yeah.
Packers are 7-3-1, and the Kitties are 7-4. So it's a 3-way race right now as the Vikings have fallen woefully behind. But yeah, the Lions probably didn't deserve to win, but they did. So there you go.
That's it for today's edition of 5 questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
We'll dive into more of the controversial news from the head coach of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, at his day after the game news conference announced that J.J. McCarthy's in the concussion protocol, and whether he plays Sunday or not remains to be seen. We'll talk about that other side of the break. Common Man program on the Fan.
Hungry for football? Head to Boardwalk Kitchen and Bar in Shakopee for the big game pig roast. $25 plates stacked with pig roast, sauces, and sides. Drink specials all day, and KFAN's own meat sauce is watching the Purple take on Seattle with you at kickoff, 3 p.m. sharp. Full info at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
What's the name of the place again?
Boardwalk Kitchen and Bar in Shakopee.
Okay. Carson and Anderson. No, Karch and Anderson. Dad! There's a dead list.
We're coming.
For those of you that are not aware, there is a, and I'm already giving them way more publicity than I probably should, but this is what they wanted. They're using me. Remember I said I quoted one of Warren's favorite artists, Rod Stewart, from Maggie May, where I said, I feel I'm being used. I know I keep you amused, but I feel I'm being used. There's a website called the64.com. They put together 64 item brackets for all sorts of things. They do sandwiches and this and that. They decided, we can get some real PR. Those egotistical talk show hosts that also have podcasts, let's put them in a bracket. And by gosh, they'll talk it up. And they were right. I'm going to quote another musician. Are you familiar with the song "Tend to Be Night Moves" by Bob Seger?
Oh, yeah.
She was using... Give me the music. Not the Bob Seger music. Thank you. Because I want to make sure I get this lyric exactly right. Night moves. I told them, you can't call me while I'm on the air. I gave them that specific instructions. And we'd steal away every chance we could to the back room, to the alley, or the trusty woods. I used her, she used me, but neither one cared. We were getting our share. Tenneby, the 64.com is using me. I'm using them. Neither of us care. We're both just getting our share. We defeated Karch and Anderson in the first round of the 64 podcast bracket. And did you tell me the Power Trip Morning Show also advanced?
The Power Trip advanced as well. We're halfway there.
We're halfway there. So if by hook or by crook, or by stuffed ballot box, or by point shaving like a la the basketball with some of the casino sports books, if we were to win and the Power Trip to win, we would meet in the Sweet 16. Is that correct?
If we both win our next matchup, we're taking on each other.
I relish it.
So we are taking on the Pivot Podcast.
Ooh, which one's the Pivot Pod? What does it say? Let me guess. They are unfiltered.
Should I read it?
My guess is the Pivot Podcast is unfiltered.
The Pivot Podcast with Channing Crowder, Fred Taylor, and Ryan Clark delivers candid sports talk, personal stories, and in-depth analysis. The hosts cover the latest NFL news, games, and trends with humor, insight, and unfiltered opinions, offering listeners a unique inside look at the game and its players.
Sounds boring. Just sounds like an awful podcast. Fred Taylor's a former player, right?
They all are.
Oh,
Fred Taylor used to be a running back for the Jaguars.
Yeah, that's right. He was pretty good, too, wasn't he?
Ryan Clark was he a corner or a safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I have no idea.
And Channing Crowder, I don't remember.
No, I don't either. I know you know who Carol Channing is.
Do you know Channing Tatum?
I do not know Shannon Tatum, but I do know that
I know a former wide receiver named Jamison Crowder. Maybe they're brothers.
Do me a favor, folks. I have no shame. Vote for me early, often. I want to meet the Power Trip so bad. Right now.
Stop what you're doing.
Did you see what else? The Power Trip's having another celebration. Their 21st 24th birthday party. Is that this Friday? Their 24th birthday party. I stopped having birthday parties when I was like 7 years old. That's it. We're done. I mean, I don't need a birthday party. My parents wanted to have one from when I was 8 years old. I said, I'm past that now. Key, see you later. Can I have them, please?
Their anniversary.
Yeah. Well, this said birthday party.
Well, same thing.
No, I know, but they're calling it a birthday party. We get no recognition at all.
No.
And we're on a level playing field with them. Well, we were 2 weeks ago. I don't know about lately, but we were. Matter of fact, we were at a higher level than they were.
Well, at the 64.com, we're on the same level.
That's exactly right.
PA advanced too, by the way.
Oh, hey, who did he square off against?
He had to take down Colin Coward.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
And the national treasure beat Colin Coward.
Now he's got the Dan Patrick show next.
No way.
He's got to go against the big national guys. The power trip is going up against Morning Show with Boomer and Gio. Boomer Sison and Greg Giannotti. And those two have unfiltered opinions.
Yeah, of course they do. They can't lose to Boomer and Gio, can they?
No.
Who do I have again? Oh, yeah, the Pivot.
The Pivot podcast.
Please, everybody, we have to face the power trip. And then I really want you to vote for me. I mean,
just once, it'd be nice to beat them at something.
Yeah, just once.
Yes.
You know how I told you I felt sorry for J.J. McCarthy yesterday? Don't the listeners feel sorry for you and I for always being second fiddle, third fiddle, fourth fiddle, fourth in the North, the clown from Brown? I mean, don't they ever feel sorry for us? Give us something.
And then if we do face them, we need to come up with like political ads where we just trash them.
Oh, I love it, yeah.
Vote for the Common Man program.
I like it.
Yeah.
We could have a lot of fun with this. But let's break. We'll talk. We have more nonstop nonsense, tomfoolery, and skullduggery coming your way next. Common Man program on the Fan.
It's the Black Friday tradition you don't want to miss.
Black Friday.
The Power Trip Morning Show.
Power Trip Morning Show on Black Friday.
We'll be live at Mall of America bringing the initials game.
Oh,
tons of laughs.
Yeah, well, more than tons. 2 tons.
And your chance to score serious holiday cash. Be there at Huntington Bank Rotunda from 7 to 9 a.m. on November 28th.
How much fun is that?
Check out KFAN.com. Keyword calendar for all the details.
What day is that again?
It'll be a Friday, 7 to 9 a.m.
What a bad break for me.
Huntington Bank Rotunda.
Yeah, it's a bad break for me. I'd sure like to be there. I encourage listeners to go, but it's Black Friday. It's a tradition of my household to sort our socks, to watch the paint dry, and to plunge our heads into boiling hot vats of asphalt. So sorry I can't make it, but we encourage the listeners to go there. Mall of America.
My guess is it's only 2 hours instead of their normal 3.5. Just there's so much laughing in the rotunda. I mean, all of a sudden you need medics there in case there's some rib injuries or knee slapping injuries.
You remember when we used to do Toys for Tots there? They put us in the main rotunda the first year, and then they put us in that one over by like Walgreens, and then all of a sudden they had us stuffed in the corner of some store.
Yeah.
You know, and then we left, and we've been all sorts of different places. And Toys for Tots, where we found a new home at Shields. We love it there too. Shields in Eden Prairie will be there on December 2nd. It's been brought to my attention by a couple of 13, 14. By the way, I right now cannot get the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line up and running. I was notified by corporate. I have to have like 2 now. Different authenticators, and I don't know how to do it because I can't get my I don't have my email on my phone. I don't have it here in the studio, and Abbott says, well, you're out of luck. But
I got it working in my
I know you do.
In my room.
I'm happy for you. So I'm just going to call the email booth at KFAN.com, the Bradshaw and Bryant email booth. So you can email me there, and a number of people have to tell me that on the website for the 64.com, where they're having a 64 podcast tournament. It says the Pivot podcast versus the Common Man, and it's got a picture of the Common Man from Columbus, Ohio. Remember the guy that stole my bit?
Yeah.
Who no longer has a job, by the way. At least last I heard, unless he landed somewhere else. I've told you that tale before. Scott... Torgerson. Torgy. His name was Torgerson. He was, when I first started working here and became the common man, Torgy was like Max or like Blakemore, fill-in guy, right?
Yeah.
And he and I became fast friends. He was goofy, kind of weird. I don't know how hard of a worker. He was a lot like me, right? We got along together really well. I kind of took him under my wing. He went his separate ways. He left here. He ended up in Columbus, the producer for this guy, and basically told him, you should be the common man. It works in Minneapolis. And so the guy took my persona and was working in Columbus for a number of years. And then I saw somewhere that they eliminated his show. And I don't know if he's landed on his feet anywhere. But, yeah, they got the picture of the wrong guy. No! That's okay. Closed circuit to the 64.com. You have the picture of the wrong guy. Wrong picture. Wrong guy. You have the common. They have the description right of common man in Minneapolis. All they did tend to be was they just looked at the latest Nielsen / Arbitrons and saw that we were through
highly rated.
Yeah, we were highly rated, so they put us on, and we're happy with it. We should be in the 64. Stuff the ballot box, please, early and often. Here's a text message or an email that came in to comment Friday morning. Subject line, thank you. And here's what it says. Hi, Common. Just wanted to thank you for all the entertaining you do on my radio. My friends and I listen and text about it daily, and it has allowed us to stay in better touch with one another. Keep up the work. Thanks. So I've created deeper bonds. Community, deeper bonds between friends. What you and I do here on this radio station, along with Mark Rosen and Lil B and others during Program Password. So we're excited and delighted that we're able to keep friendships fast and warm.
And for me, I've created a lot of deeper bonds with coworkers as we rip you together. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard about that. And at first I heard you were sticking up for me, and then you saw how much fun everybody had ripping me, so you just piled on.
I always love that
I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. It was announced during the KOC news conference, his day after the game news conference, that J.J. McCarthy, on the plane ride back, was feeling a little woozy, and he's in the protocol right now. The coach he said he wasn't ready to make an announcement that Max Brosmer will start. It's too early in the week to tell if these, I guess, concussion symptoms. And, they asked, the media said, was there a specific hit or something? And he said, no, not that we really saw, not that JJ saw. So maybe it was a culmination of things, or he got hit, he didn't say anything, and he felt worse. I don't want to be the guy that says they're making it up as they go along. There's a lot of people that believe it. I see it on the Bradshaw and Bryant email inbox. A lot of people are believing that. I guess that's possible. That high ankle sprain, there were many that thought it was a soft benching. I do believe he had a bad ankle, but I also think he had a lot of bad performances. And I think the team at the time was still thinking, obviously it was so early in the season, and they felt, we're 1-1. We got to keep playing here. And so I think they felt Wentz gave them a better opportunity. I think they overestimated how ready J.J. McCarthy would be to start the season and be ready to, just hit the ground running, as we like to say, or hit that gridiron passing, however you want to say it. And I think that I absolutely believe he had a high ankle sprain, but I think they milked it a little longer till eventually Wentz just couldn't go anymore. He was the walking wounded. He was beaten and battered. I mean, he had the shattered, broken shoulder socket. He had a separated shoulder. He had all sorts of issues. And finally, you saw how much pain he was in that final game he played. Who was that against? Was that the Chargers game?
Yes.
Was that the last game?
Yes.
And he was an immense amount of pain every time he got hit. And then when they asked the coach the next day if he noticed, they go, I didn't really see anything like that. Well, he was wincing in pain. But anyway, the cement hasn't dried yet, man. Or maybe the cement has dried. You know what they used to do in the gangster days tend to be? They would they would take like a big galvanized metal bucket, put cement in it, put a guy in it, wait for it to harden, and then they would drop him into the Hudson Bay in New York. Maybe the cement is hardened and he's just plummeted to the very bottom because it has not been good. And I take no joy in it in any way, shape, or form. I don't.
Is it like the concrete at Target Field that took like 2 years to settle?
I think that's exactly what it is. It's the same. And so I take no joy in this. I don't. I feel bad for the kid. But he wouldn't be the first quarterback selected in the National Football League draft that did not live up to expectations. And I know I understand when people say it's only been 6 games. And you're right, it has only been 6 games. And we have seen other...
Seems like it's been longer.
It does seem like it's been longer. And we've seen other quarterbacks struggle early in their career and then become either at least functioning NFL quarterbacks, and in some cases they blossom and become really good players. So I understand there's a part of the fan base, and I think it's getting less and less with each poor performance, especially after losing to Green Bay. It was bad yesterday. It was maybe his worst before. It's gotten worse each week. I think there a lot of people are abandoning that ship of you got to keep playing him to see what we've got. But I still understand it because 6 games isn't really a lot to go on. I mean, Tenby, if they would have judged me on 6 shows, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be in San Jose parking cars and pumping gas. Mm-hmm. So, but there's more at stake in the National Football League, especially money-wise, than there is here in radio. There's a lot of money involved in radio, trust me, but it's not like the National Football League. So he did say that if McCarthy can't go, it would be Brosmer. It's not like they're going to go hire somebody off the streets and throw him in. He has all the trust in the world, he says, in Brosmer, and I don't doubt that. I think they probably do feel like. I mean, that's why they drafted him. I think they liked what they saw when they scouted him.
They didn't draft him. He was undrafted.
Undrafted free agent. When they signed him, I think they liked what they saw, and that's why they signed him as an undrafted free agent. Hell of an initiation if Brosmer plays. I mean, isn't Seattle considered one of the best defensive units in football?
Yeah.
And you're playing at Seattle.
12s, yeah.
And then you have the added twist in which my guess is Darnold has a bit of a chip on his shoulder, right? Because, he was, for the most...
Do you think that's part of the reason the concussion came up? Not saying it's a soft benching, but if it was, like this is the last week we need him playing because you're going to have the comparisons.
Correct.
They let go this guy for this guy.
And I guess I hadn't thought of that, but that makes a little bit of sense. And they asked him about Darnold, KOC did, and you could just tell. I wasn't there. I can't see facial expressions, and I could be way off on this. I think it pained McCarthy or O'Connell to have to talk about Darnold.
The pain was tremendous.
Yeah, in glowing terms. Because this has not gone well. This obviously so far has completely backfired on this club. And that's why I said there was a email that came into me at 11 on Sunday at 10:37 before the Vikings game. It says comment. The fatal Viking flaw not being adequately discussed is the fact that the Vikings' defense and star players are built to win now, but the development of McCarthy will take 2-3 more years before he can win in the playoffs. By then, Jefferson, most of the star players will be gone, and McCarthy will have a much weaker team supporting him. They should have signed Darnold or Jones and left McCarthy on the bench 2 more years. He says it hasn't been adequately discussed. We have discussed it since they let Darnold go. I was in the camp that thought they should have re-signed Sam Darnold. I thought he played very well. I know that Lions game was a disaster. He looked like McCarthy in that game. He overthrew receivers. He threw a lot of bad passes. Was it a bad case of the jitters? Could very well be, because Detroit's defense there was not much left defensively on that club, which has been well documented. I talked about it all the time last year. The Lions lost 18 defensive players to injuries. They were playing guys that they had called in the middle of the season, guys sitting on their couch, phone rings. They think it's candid camera. They think their buddy's pulling a prank on them. Yeah, it's Dan Campbell. Wondering if you can play. This ain't Dan Campbell. Bill, I can tell your voice. No, it really is. It's Dan Campbell. Then they look at caller ID and say, Pontiac, Michigan. And they go, okay. Guys that were out of the league are playing for Detroit. So the defense, I still don't know how Detroit went 15-2 with all those injuries. I guess their offense was so good. They were outscoring teams 35-31 every single week. And that performance by Darnold was bad. But if you'll remember, we've talked about this so many times, Teneby. Immediately following the game, after the 20-minute cool-off, the coach said we need to rebuild the interior of our offensive line because Detroit steamrolled them. And Darnold never had a chance in that game. I'm talking about the Rams game now. He never had a chance in the Rams game, the first playoff game. The Vikings had a chance to clinch the first spot. If they beat Detroit, they didn't. They dropped to 5. Darnold wasn't brilliant in the Rams game either. And I'm sure a sack or two was on him. But that was mostly the off. That's why they said we have to change offensive lines. And then the Vikings decided we're going with McCarthy. And that's fine if you decide to do that. But as the emailer said, and it is true, they spent a lot of money. They've spent more money than anybody. They have $300 million committed to players, and they've signed veterans in the
old
middle.
Players.
Yeah, older players in the middle of the offensive and defensive line. And I during this last few weeks when we talked about, well, if you keep Darnold, you don't have the money to sign those free agents. You tell me how well those free agents have played. Tell me. Yesterday we had our starting offensive line for the first time that we wanted, which means we had our 2 free agents. We had the center.
Ryan
Kelly, who was he was wearing the Guardian hat. He's had a lot of concussions, but he wanted to play. Yeah, I read the story over the weekend where in talking with neurologists or whoever doctors he talked to said they sort of eased his concerns about, long term and this and that and the other thing that, because I think you can suffer a handful of concussions and you're not going to all of a sudden, at age 50 where you've got CET, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to, there are people that have had concussions and they live happily ever after. But those, that offensive line, now I know Darisaw ended up getting hurt and so did Jackson. But before Darisaw got hurt, who's the kid that the Green Bay traded for? The off defensive lineman, the
Micah Parsons.
I mean, they flashed up a stat yesterday. He's only the second player in NFL history to record 10 sacks in his first 5 seasons. 10 sacks in each season in his first 5. I mean, that's an astonishing number. I mean, I knew he was good.
He's a game changer.
I had no idea he was that good. When they were making this big deal about getting him in Green Bay, I thought, yeah, okay, that's great. I would have liked him here. There isn't a team in the league that wouldn't like him. Well, other than Dallas for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I mean, he spun Darisaw around a couple of times, and they.
We thought we could block him 1-on-1.
Yeah, and that offensive line was not that good. So maybe we'd have been better off not spending that money and spending it on Darnold. Because before we got the new guys on the interior, the offense and the interior, the defensive line, with Sam Darnold, what were they? They were 13-4. Now, I know I get it. They had the 2 losses to Detroit, the 2 losses to the Rams, and Darnold wasn't very good, particularly the Detroit game. And I still, again, as I just said, I don't think the Rams game was nearly as much as his fault as it was the offensive line. Darnold he had a bad game the other day when he threw 4 interceptions last week when they lost to the Rams.
LA, yeah.
They lost to the Rams. There's no shame in that. That Rams club, we saw how good they are.
Yeah.
I mean, they knocked Mayfield out of the game, and Mayfield was doing nothing in that game. Darnold bounced back yesterday and had a from what I understand, I don't think it was a brilliant performance, but he was back to, he played well. And I'm sure he's got a chip on his shoulder because my guess is he'd have loved to have come back here and played again, right? Developed friendships, had a lot of success here. He probably had a sour taste in his mouth and wanted to redeem himself with this club again in this upcoming year, Last year we got to the door. This year we knocked on it. We're going to kick it in. So I'm sure he's going to have some extra incentive. It could be an ugly game. And you might be right. I hadn't thought of that. Maybe, I don't know. You hate to make accusations that the guy's really not hurt as bad as he is, but it's
just happened multiple times now.
Yeah, it has indeed. And so let's break. Come back. 1 more hour to go. We'll take. I'll pick through some more emails, and we'll talk not only Vikings, but there are other topics to get to as well here on the Common Man program, along with 10 to B, right here on the Fan.